guys, how are you all doing? So today we are going to start our online martial arts sessions. Can't really call them classes because it's not, I don't know, it's not like an actual class. I mean, I was having a think for a little while about how we were going to even get the martial arts classes to be an online thing. But the way I figure it, if we just go over technique and how to, do whatever moves we're talking about in the session, it'll help people who already know how to do them and people who are already practicing martial artists to just work on their technique and fine tune some things. And if you're a beginner, it'll give you some groundwork. I mean, it's very hard over the internet. You really need someone to be there with you in a class to correct you on the fly. So a bit hard over the internet, but we'll give it a go. So for today, we're going to start on footwork and how to stand, how to hold your stance and form a shape. Now, the way that we do martial arts here, it's a we've kind of gotten at the core of what we believe works, is most effective. So we've cut away a lot of the fat from the styles that we have mixed in with what we do. So today's stance is probably more of a boxing style stance, which works quite well for staying maneuverable and if you're in a situation where it's a couple of people trying to punch your lights out, it's good to have a stance that's quite mobile. So I'm going to start by putting up this little footwork thing. Where is it? It's not coming up. Where are you, footwork thing? Looks like I've lost it. I imported it, but no, it's gone. Well, that's a little bit annoying. What about here? Is it there? No, it's not there. Okay, it's gone. Never mind. Forget the footwork thing. I'm not gonna be able to get my little diagram. I had a little diagram that showed you how your feet need to be placed. Perhaps I can draw. Okay, so this is our little diagram. I had a flashy little presentation, but that's gone. So while you're standing, you need to imagine you're standing on a box. Okay. Now the width of this box should be about your shoulder width, maybe a little bit wider, and you're going to place one foot at the top corner and the other foot at the opposite bottom corner. Now, so you're standing on a box. I'll show you what that looks like here. So my fighting stance, my feet are here. So just outside my shoulder width, and my feet are nice and stable. Yeah. Now the reason for this is so that I can lean in any direction, forward, back, side to side, and I'm quite well balanced. Yeah. So side profile, I'm here. Yeah. Now if I were to have, say, a longer stride stance, forward and back, I'm quite stable. But side to side, not so much now. Yeah. Not quite so much. And same here. Forward and back, I can go a long way forward and back. But side to side, it's a bit less than what I could do in here. Yeah. So you can come away from this square a little bit. You can go a little bit longer, a little bit shorter, depending on how your body is and how you fight. But the further away from it you get, the more you compromise your stability. So it's a bit of a one of those things where you have to play and find what's best for you. But I recommend starting with a square box. So today we're going to talk about staying within that square box and how to move within that square box. So like this. So I'm on my square. I've got one leg forward, one leg back. Now my feet, although my feet are flat on the ground, the weight of my body is borne in the balls of my feet, my toes. So I'm not standing up on my toes like this. My feet are flat, but the weight's in my toes. And the back foot can even be up like this if you like, a little bit elevated. That can give you a little bit more spring to move around with. Yeah. So weight in the balls of the feet. Now, where to put your hands? Your hands you don't want to have them far away from you like this. Having your elbows in nice and tight is good because that's going to protect your ribs. Yeah. And having your hands up to your head means that if someone goes to punch your head, you don't have to really do much to block it. Yeah. All it takes is a little bit of a deflection from a headshot to take away all the sting from it. So you want your hands up nice and high and preferably connected to your face. So thumbs on the face can work quite well. And that way when you get hit, it's going to push you, as opposed to if your hands are away and you get hit, it's going to knock into you like that. Now, the other thing I like to do, especially with barehanded fighting, is to have open hands. Reason for that is, well, one of the reasons is if I've got closed fists, that's good if I have a glove on because it's a cushion. Yeah, it's a big cushion, and when that gets hit and pushes my face, it doesn't hurt too much. But if I've got closed fists and I'm blocking and this fist gets hit, I start knuckling myself in the eye socket, and that can hurt quite a bit, and it can also make your eyes swell shut and stuff. So having your hands open is good because then it's a soft. Even if your hands are kind of round and closed, when it hits, this will compress and be nice and soft against your face rather than a hard knuckle. So don't ever do this. Have them loose, have them open a bit. Up nice and high. So we're going to work on holding these hands up. While your hands are up, you want to try to relax your arms, upper body and shoulders as much as possible. You don't want to be stiff. The stiffer you are, the slower you're going to be to punch, the slower you're going to be to react. It also means that if my body's stiff and I get hit, this actually hurts quite a bit. Yeah. Whereas if I'm loose and I get hit, my body rolls with it. It doesn't hurt anywhere near as much. So you want to try to stay loose while having your hands up. So something to practice while you're practicing moving around is just as you start feeling your muscles tensen up, just loosen them. Yeah, you can move. Starting to tense up muscles, loosen them off again, then come back. So every few steps, just loosen up as much as you can. The looser the better. Okay. Now, how to move. This one can take a little while, especially for new people. Now, I'm going to stand with my left leg forward, right leg back. The reason for that is I'm right-handed, so my right side is my strong side, and with my right leg back, I can generate more power off of my right side. That way when I hit with my right hand, it's going to be a very hard hit. Whereas if I'm standing with my left leg back, standing this way, the hardest hit that I'm going to throw now is my left cross. But my left side is not my strongest, so the strongest punch my body can deliver is not my strongest punch when I'm standing this way. I stand this way and I've always got that at my disposal. Okay, so right leg back, left leg forward, bam, I can throw that hit. Now, I've already been talking about how I want you to stand on a square box, right? The other thing I want you to do is have both of these hip bones facing the front. Yeah. The reason for that is because if I can reach you here with my left, I want to be able to reach with my right. Yeah. If I'm standing side on like this, side on, I can reach with my left. My right is quite far away. To hit with my right, I'm going to have to come all this way around, which is too slow. Yeah. I mean, I might get lucky. I might hit the person. I might be fighting someone who's a lot slower than me. But if I'm fighting someone who's quick, or if I want to keep my speed advantage, I want to keep that hip a bit further forward so that I can land those strikes in my right hand without having to travel all this distance to hit it. Yeah. Now, like I said, all of this stuff is a case of weighing up pros and cons and what works for you or what doesn't work for you. You might want to have a slightly longer stride. You might want to be slightly side on, and you find it's worthy sacrificing that few milliseconds of speed. But that's all up to you to decide. But when you're practicing to start off with and when you're practicing how to move, it's good to start with quite rigid form like this. Very front on, square box, 50-50 weight. That's the next thing to talk about. 50-50 weight distribution. Now, a lot of people fight with different long stance and the weight's in the front leg, or sort of a cat stance, weight in the back leg, or whatever. I prefer 50-50 because you don't have to shift any weight when you go to move. And what I mean by that is this. If I'm standing on my box, 50-50 weight distribution in my legs, any direction I want to move in, I can just move. There's no overbalance to compensate for. If I'm standing with my weight on my back leg and I want to move forward, yeah, I've got more weight to shift forward. If I'm standing with my weight on my front leg and I want to move forward, to move properly, I've actually got to move back before I can push forward. The only other option to me if my weight's on my front leg is to unbalance myself, to step like that, or to step through, which is that entire move I'm out of balance. So if I want to punch or block a hit, I can't. I can't punch with any strength, or I can't block without going flying. So I find it's important to have 50-50 weight on your legs. Yeah. Any direction I want to move in, I can move in. Now we get to the point of actual movement. So you're standing here in your stance, square box, 50-50 weight. You got your guard up, elbows are in, you're nice and loose. Now I want to move forward. I need to make sure every time I move, it's a push. So I'm going to push off my back leg to move forward. Yeah? If I'm moving back, I'm going to push off my front leg to move back. My stance is going wider then shorter. Wider then shorter. If I want to move to the side, my stance is going to go wider then shorter. That side, wider then shorter. Yeah? So I'm always, and it's always pushing. Like if someone were pushing against my shoulder and I want to move that way, I'm going to drive in like this. Yeah? Now, if someone were pushing against my shoulder and I wanted to move that way, if I wasn't driving up here, if I was trying to step across, can you see how someone's pushing here? I go to step across, I'm going to get pushed over as I bring this foot across here. It's because it's an unbalanced way to move. Yeah. So I want to make sure that I'm driving into that, so that if as I'm moving I need to check a hit, I can check it with power. Yeah. If I want to strike as I'm moving across, because I'm pushing into it, I can strike with power. Yeah? As opposed to if I'm stepping across this way, you can't punch like that. If I go to block something when I'm in this position here, whatever hits me is going to send me flying. Yeah? So always push, push. I'm moving forward, push. Moving back, push. So for this week, this is going to be your practice. Now, for those of you who are my usual martial arts students, I want you to, practice your movement, throwing whatever shots you feel like. Yeah. For those of you who are new to this, whether you have done martial arts before and are just trying something slightly different, or just like whatever tweaks I've got, or whether you're new, doesn't matter. I want you to practice just this movement, yeah, each time. Now, it's important that as you're stepping, I've got this square box I'm standing on, and I need to preserve that. So as I move back, step, and this leg comes up, so I've got my square box. Step, legs come up, got my square box. This side, still got my square box. Yeah. And what you'll find is, as you're moving, you might start going forward, you'll notice this back leg starting to sneak in and becoming narrow. Yep. So if you have a look at my feet now, can't really see, hard to see, but I'm on a rectangle right now. That's not balanced. Yeah. And so the same thing, as you're moving side to side, what people tend to find is their feet start to become as if they're just standing straight like this. Have to preserve that square box. Now, may not seem like much, but that's a bit of practice that is well worth spending a whole week on. Just moving forward, back, side, and side. That's it. And this is something I get my beginner students to do. This is something I get my advanced students to do over and over again all the time, because it's so important. Forward, back, side, side. Forward, back, side, side. Your hands, not too concerned about hands right now. I just want these feet right. Forward, back, side, side. You go double forward, 1, 2, 4 footfalls for 2 steps forward. Moving back, 1, 2, 4 footfalls for 2 steps back. To the side, 1, 2, side, 1, 2. Forward, 1, 2, back, 1, 2. And you'll notice there's no momentum here. Yeah? Another common mistake with this when people are practicing is that they'll step forward and they'll lean. Step back and they'll lean back. Step to the side and they're leaning. no leaning. Your center of gravity needs to remain right in between your legs the whole time. Imagine you've got a weight, you've got it tied around your waist and the rope dangling down, the weight is down at your feet. That weight needs to stay right in the center the whole time. That's your center of gravity. So if I move forward here, center of gravity is right down. If I'm leaning forward, my center of gravity is going to be out beyond my base. That's bad. That's bad. So forward, back, side, side. That's it for today. I didn't really write stuff down as to how I was going to go over that, so maybe I should have planned it out a bit better as a lesson. Maybe I'll redo this at some other stage. I will replay this as a watch party later on at 7 o'clock, because usually my martial arts classes start at 7, so there's that. Thanks for tuning in. Those of you guys who are my usual martial arts students, I'm sorry I'm having to start at the beginning, but I just feel like that's just the place to start, especially if there's new people checking it out. And like I said, if you're advanced at martial arts, it's always good to revisit your roots and your basics all the time, because it's the basics that win it. It's not the flowery, jumpy, specky looking things. It's the bread and butter that does it. Anyway, that's it, guys. Take care. Thanks for watching.